we can make this a little better, right? We can make this a little bit more of a thick texture because by itself, this bass line is cool, but it's not really like music, right? It doesn't really sound like much. If you ever heard the original theme song from Mission Impossible, you know there's a lot more instruments going on, and that's what kind of gives it its drama. More instruments start to add in as it goes, and it gets kind of fancy. So we're going to kind of mess with that now, and we're actually going to do this much easier way than you might think. So, you could go through, add another instrument, and re-record the whole thing, or we could copy and paste it, which I'm going to show you how to do right now. So we've created this bit of a loop here, right? Now, this loop, we can actually use it all over again. So we had done this on a synthesizer bass, something that sounds a little bit like this. Maybe we want to add another instrument to kind of thicken up the texture. What that means, like, add some more variety to the sound we have. How do we do that? Well, hopefully you guys remember over here in the top left corner, you'll see this little plus sign right up here. Take a look. Take a look, add track. We're going to click that. We'll click instrument again, all right? Because this is where we can use these pre-made loops that we made our own, which I'm going to explain what they are in just a second here. Now, it always will set to a default of a piano. For this one, maybe we want to match like the original theme song. Maybe we'll make it a little dramatic. Maybe use some strings like violins, violas, bass, cello, all that. So we'll go to here, we'll click strings. Maybe you want to pick something different. Feel free to look through all the options here, all right? Once you click on it, you have a whole bunch of different more options within that. We'll just leave it string orchestra. Why not? Kind of exciting. Now, we could go through and make it the difficult way and re-record everything like we did before. But the trick with this is we don't really have much of a beat here, right? We don't have like a drum pattern to latch on to really feel the tempo. So it can be kind of tough, especially when we're to a new time signature 5/4, a little weird, syncopated with the whole 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 5, a little tricky. So instead of re-recording and maybe being a little sloppy and getting frustrated, we're just going to reuse what we've already made up here. So we're going to right-click it, click copy. We'll go down to our new instrument track and make sure it gets highlighted so it's not up on this one. We'll click down below it, click, and then right below where that loop is, we're just going to right-click, and then hit paste. And voila, it shows up. You can see here these do not line up, so I'm going to just drag it all the way over. So now they're starting and ending together. Now, if I were to click play, it does sound a little different, but it's like kind of rusty. It almost sounds like metallic. Now, maybe you like that sound. And you could just keep doing this. You could keep adding tracks over here and just keep adding instruments. But maybe instead of making everything sound so low, we want to give it a little bit more coverage in the sonic spectrum, a little more high pitch. How do we do that? Well, if we click on the loop that's now on our second set of instruments, we don't want to do this to our bass part because the bass is supposed to be low. But for, like, say, if I pick some strings here, if I click that, the keyboard's still here and it'll sound like strings now, which is cool, but maybe we want to make it sound a little bit higher, okay? So if I were to click where it says pitch over here, we can see that this is focused more from C3 up through C5. If we were to go to our loop over here, you can see that our first bass one was down low, the very low C, C1, C2, C3, the bass range, the lower part of the piano, the left end of the keyboard. So if we want to take this second loop and bring it up from, say, C2 up to, say, C4, this is how we do that. This is already going to be on what we call the instrument tab, which shows our keyboard so we can control it. And we can also pick the different sounds. But if we were to click to the right of that, skip over effects and click where it says MIDI editor. That stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface, MIDI for short. It brings up this grid. Now, this is like kind of like the sequencer we did on the drum machine, but much more powerful. From left to right, it shows you the order of the notes you have, and from up and down, it shows you the pitch. Now, if you look here, this grid is dark, black and like a light gray color, and they all line up with this keyboard on the left. So this one right here is on a light gray section. That light gray section, if I were to scroll over, lines right up with the G key. We have 2 Gs in a row. This one's on a black section. It lines right up with the B flat key. This one right here lines up with the C2 key. Guys, this is just lining up right with the keyboard. So if you ever played a wrong note and you wanted to adjust it, let's say, for example, that you played this and you accidentally hit A instead of B flat, you're going G, G, B flat, C, and you accidentally press an A, well, it would sound wrong like this. When want to fix that, click it, and you can just literally drag this anywhere on the keyboard. Of course, we want it on B flat, so I'll just put it back where it was. I'm just showing you guys how you can do that. You don't have to do that, but if you ever wanted to make something, you could literally just go with it, record whatever. You could even click the little pencil here and just draw blocks in and work with it from there too. You don't even need to use the keyboard if you don't want. And a lot of hip-hop music producers will do it this way themselves, actually. So this is not necessarily unusual. Just wanted to show you. All right, cool. So how are we going to fix all of this? Well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do Control A. We'll highlight everything. If you've never known that shortcut, hold on CTRL on your computer and A, and you'll see everything highlighted. I'll do that one more time. You can see here, look very closely at each one of these little blocks. When I hit Control A, they get a little bit like highlighted. Now, what we're going to do, very carefully, we don't want to move left, we don't want to move right. We're going to go up to the next G. So right here, we're going to take from this G up to the next G, which remember is right in between the first and second black keys in the group of 3. And actually, for that matter, maybe we'll take it up 2 octaves. We'll go up even further to the next G. So if I just go straight up, keep going. Now, let's take a listen. You can now hear that we have the very low end of the spectrum. We also have a higher end of the spectrum, but we've done almost no work. All we did is a little click and drag and copy and pasting, and this is just how we do it. Now, guys, the idea here is that you can experiment with this. You could continuously keep adding in more instruments and just going with it, but at some point it gets to be a little bit much, so you kind of want to just at your own basis. But I wanted to show you some of these tricks of the trade here that we use, along with a casual, famous song that we know. So now if you ever go up to a keyboard, you can play the little theme from the Mission Impossible soundtrack. There's more to it, but this is the basic idea. I wanted to share that with you. I hope you guys had some fun with this one. And yeah, there you go. Another one to remember. Quite simple. All right, guys, I want to thank you for being here again. I hope you guys have fun with this one, and really want to appreciate all your effort that you've put in. So, let's finish this one up strong, guys, and I'll see you again next week. Peace, everybody.